Hey, this is Michael Felder, and you're watching BT Foundry, so you want to be a graphic designer. All right, my name is Michael Felder. I'm an art director, graphic designer, South Central Los Angeles, by way of Dallas, Texas, North Texas for a little while. I've worked with Def Jam Records, Polyvinyl Records, the D.O.C, Spike Lee, Gangstarr, Joe Budden Podcast, to name a few. I do logos, shirts, album covers, vinyl covers, stickers, pitch decks, PDFs, just about anything that you can expect comes across my desk. Just a dreamer of dreams, a kid who kept writing on the walls, you know. If I had to pick one part, I don't know. I really like making clothes. I make a lot of, shirts and stuff, as you can see. I think, yeah, it's probably my favorite part is making a shirt and then, going out in public and actually seeing someone wear it. That's happened to me a couple of times before. Yeah, I love making clothes. I love making logos. But yeah, probably my favorite part of the process is getting to see the work in the wild. Like, no one makes stuff just for it to live on a hard drive somewhere where nobody can see it. So, oh man, how I got started and then what interests me. So, I guess I got to answer the first question. I've been making art for as long as I can remember. Whether it was just comics on the computer, or if my mom needed something typed or making labels or something like that, I would do that for her. Excuse me. And that was when I was young, 8, 10, 12. And then when I got to high school, I thought I wanted to do like be like a computer tech. And I took a class in college, like an intro to graphic design, basically. And because of where I was at with just basic computer knowledge, I was able to figure out all of the lessons in half the time as the rest of the class. I was completing projects that would take days and like a couple hours, and just there in front of the computer board. So my teacher basically hired me to run. This is in college. Hired me to run the lab that the other students would come in and get their graphic work done. Mm-hmm. And that's where I learned a lot, like self-taught, obviously, but did a couple of classes here and there as well. But really, just to anybody watching, how I got started is just following instructions. They have books still that you can go and buy for like, used book prices like $5, $10. And in there, there's instructions on, hey, you want to make a GIF, here's how to do that. Here's how to make a logo. Here's how to take something from vector and print it at a certain resolution. All of those things that prepared me for where I am now. And then I just, continue trying to make art and to figure out where I fit in with this whole thing. For me, design is like, when I was really young, I started figuring out that design is everywhere in one way or another. No matter what industry you're in, what part of the world you're interested in, what music, art, food, all of these worlds, right? They encompass design in one way or another, right? Like the food we eat every day has labeling and packaging that someone had to make. Mm-hmm. And I think that for me, when I was really young, I started figuring that out. Like these ads and billboards and things that I see around me, people made, you know what I mean? And so for me, that's definitely one of my favorite things about design is that it's everywhere. So when I started really picking that apart and figuring out, hey, I like music, I can do design, but for hip hop, you know, I can do design, but in the music world, in the art world, in the entertainment industry, um, that was life changing for me, and just distancing myself less from it. You know what I mean? Like learning that these are things that are made in the real world, and I can participate and be a part of that. So that clicking was like life changing. So for me, shout out to Ian Schwartzman, Gangstarr's manager, also Joe. I got to work for the Gangstarr brand last year, and in terms of the projects that really affirmed me, that told me that I was supposed to be here and that I'm doing my calling and what I was supposed to be doing. It was definitely that, just because that's, you know, such a legendary group. They have such a history. And for me, you know, I'm not new to this. I've been in it for 10 years, but relatively new. You know, somebody who was a lot older than me would say, you know, I'm a young kid or something like that. But yeah, so getting to do that work for Cream and for Ian is like was definitely life changing for me. Like, okay, I'm in my bag now. I know how to do what I do best, and you know, there's probably no one that I couldn't work for. There are people that I wouldn't work for, but there are people, you know, I don't think that there's a project that I couldn't tackle and at least put my own unique spin on it, you know. So yeah, definitely the Gangstarr project is probably one of my favorites. That's the thing, man. Because of the nature of this business, like there's no real concrete answer. But a lot of the times I wake up, you know, do the regular hygiene things, put on a cool shirt. Shout out to support Black designers. Cool hat. Shout out to the hundreds. Um, you know, I don't drink coffee or tea or anything like that. I've been on sparkling water. So I have my little, you know, couple cans of
That's what fuels you is the sparkling water.
yes, yes, believe it or not. I think it's a psychology thing. Like I stopped drinking soda. So it's like the bubbles still kind of like, you know,
So
give you
that's
that.
funny. I have to do my morning tea, but and it's like energizing tea in the morning. However, on one of those days where like yesterday where I knew it was gonna be wild and it was gonna be up all night, up early, I did Red Bull. And I'm like, you, I don't do soda.
Yeah.
Fizzle in the Red Bull is like perfect.
Hey, if Red Bull, if you're watching this, I need the sugar free pack, the sugar free influencers edition. I need the fridge. Like honestly, if there's a project that I know that I'm going to be up all night or for you know longer than I normally would be, I definitely will go get me a sugar free Red Bull. But as far as a typical day, honestly, I wake up, I sit in front of the computer here, and I wait for stuff to happen, or I don't wait for stuff to happen. You know, I'm working, and that's on a daily. Like, regardless of whether I have something due or not, I'm always trying to, you know, if it's personal work or you know, just going back over the archive and trying to touch something up, make something new out of something unused or old. Like, I'm in front of the computer a lot.
You know, you mentioned something that I think is very important because I'm self-taught as well. I went to school for a lot, definitely not in anything that I do now. Um, and I was self-taught. How was that experience for you getting opportunities or feeling like you had to prove yourself with not having that, official degree or certification?
It's hard, man. It's hard. I mean, so first off, I'm blessed to have been able to finish college. I'll start with that because a lot of people aren't even in that position.
Mhm.
So I know that that definitely has helped get me into certain rooms, definitely. But the self talk grind is a grind. You know what I mean? There are people that are paid to do things, the same things that you do, and some of them have been doing it for years. Some of them haven't. Some people just get really good opportunities, and um, learning on my own and developing my own set of skills has taught me just to be adaptable to those situations. Not everything works out for the better. So it's just good to try to prepare either way. You know what I mean?
So adaptability is definitely like a great soft skill to have as a graphic designer, especially working with clients because things pivot all the time. But what are some other soft skills that you think are important for graphic designers to kind of have?
Oh man, time management. um, in high school, one of my teachers at ROTC, shout out to Sergeant Wheeler. I don't know if he's watching this, but um, yeah, he told me that my main issue, and this is when I was like 15 years old, mind you, like sophomore in high school, you know what I mean? Junior in high school. But yeah, he's like, time management is your issue. And since then, it's been that in one way or another. So definitely in terms of soft skills, scheduling is important. Knowing how to pitch yourself is important because sometimes you're thrown in the room and you didn't expect to be there, but you just got to be ready for whatever happens. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, just people skills in general. Know how to type a good email. Email. That's a great skill. Like learn know how to type an email without having to rely on a spell check.
Mhm.
Sometimes it will fail you. Um, I think as a designer, being able to spot things that influence you and things that you like developing your own personal style is definitely important. Um, finding the artists that you admire and not necessarily copying their work, but learning the steps that they took to create their work and then doing that for yourself. When I was really, really first starting out, Aaron Draplin Design Company is shout out to him if he's seeing it. He's like probably my number one in terms of design, like the guy I look up to, the guy that I relate to the most. Started the thick lines movement and started my style of vectorization a little bit. Um, what else? What else is good? Knowing when to say no to a project is so essential. Like reading people. You know what I mean? Like before you start a project, sometimes if you can get a vibe off of a person that like, yo, whatever you got, just like it does not those never end up the way that you want them to. So know how to read people, know how to type a good email, um, know how to pitch yourself when it counts.
Right.
There's a bunch, but
It's
that's
a
what I can think of right now. This shouldn't feel like a read. This should not feel like a read at all. That's a very normal question.
Are you not doing anything? Are you just waiting?
I shouldn't feel nervous. That's a normal question.
If you're, it's okay. Sometimes winging it works.
Honestly, I'm pretty good about keeping things in notes. I'm really meticulous about trying to, you know, keep messages from clients together and stuff. So for me, you know, I write everything down that I can. I prefer to do stuff through email or text so that I can read it back later, you know. Like there are little hacks that I know that I know how I am, and how I am doesn't always relate to work being done. So I have to like work in little workarounds for myself, kind of like a computer, you know, so that I can still do the things that I need to do. And so part of me wants to say that I've been good for at least 5 or 6 years. And then another side of me still doesn't know how to answer that question. And I think that that's what keeps me humble. That's what keeps me hungry. I know that this is something that I was destined to do, but to be honest, you know, day to day, sometimes I struggle with that. Sometimes I struggle with knowing that I'm good enough to be in the position that I am. So I believe in myself for sure. It's like it's a weird kind of thing, but it's like I kind of allow myself to question it, not doubt it, because doubting it is different, but to question it so that I can always get better. You know what I mean? I think there's always room for me to improve. So I think that I felt like I was good for like probably since the D.O.C. Like when I got to meet him and work with him, and be at that crazy show 6 years ago. I was on stage dancing with Erykah Badu while she was DJing. Like that stuff was life changing. But yeah, I probably for about 5 or 6 years, I felt like okay, I'm on a different level now, I'm closer to where I'm supposed to be. But yeah, honestly, that's something I struggle with. You know, the determination part, the knowing that is where I'm supposed to be.
You know, I look at your portfolio and I see some of the people that you've worked for, and it's like, how much higher do you want to go before you know?
To the top.
You have heart. Honestly, your portfolio is probably one of the best portfolios I've seen. You know, like you see some portfolios where people have like 1 or 2 huge people in there where like everybody knows their name, but your portfolio is like page turner after page turner, like hard hitting clients and great work. So it's like you're there, man, you know. And people see
it. So much. See, like that, you know, getting that reaction from people is always dope. And I love people to get to see the work that I make. So as far as the portfolio though, like it wasn't always that stacked. You know what I mean? I'm different from a lot of designers in that I try not to do I don't know how to describe it. I want to call it demo work. So not necessarily something for a client or something, but like I remade the Drake cover, or here's my version of Kanye's up and coming single or something like that. Like I always try to do my very best on every client project, whether it's, a homie, somebody I know, or somebody I don't know, so that I can use the things that I actually worked on and got paid for as collateral in my portfolio versus here's a bunch of things that I created kind of as art that, you know, it's not real. I hate to say it that way, but um, there are a lot of people that spend a lot of time doing that, and then they make 10, 100, 1,000, demo covers, and then they get to make a real cover. But for me, it was always important to make what I call real work for real people and real clients, and to work off of that, and to be known off of that, and to have that carry you, because it's like, everybody can do a good flip or can base something off of something that already exists. But it's like, what have you made that's unique to you? What have you made that's from your brain and from no one else's? So those are the things that clients see and recognize. Like for a long time, the D.O.C was really the only, and the Spike Lee was like the only thing that I had in my portfolio. And I was adding in the homies projects and other little things that I had worked on around that. But you put your top piece at the top, and then you just build underneath that until you can reshift the the order of things. Good question. So in 20, I want to say 2015, 2016, I was working my last day job as a designer. And long story short, I made a mistake that could have gone public and it didn't. And because of that situation, I got let go from that position. I didn't feel like I had the chance to grow or to learn from my mistakes. So ever since then, I've been working for myself. And I definitely took that as a lesson to be like, everything you make is public. It has the potential to be public. So make sure to check and double check things before you send them off. Um, just, and also, it taught me to that I want to be the last white man to fire me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a joke, but it's also kind of a true statement. You know what I mean? Like when I got that job, 2 weeks in, the boss took me to lunch, and he was like, "What do you really want to do?" And then I should have known that something was up. I didn't see it then. But again, reading people and reading situations, I got better at that through that as well. And so this was, 6 or 7 years ago. And I've been, for better or worse, working for myself since then. So it just, I don't know, those hard moments and the things that you think may be the end, may be the beginning of something bigger, something better, something more that you're more in ownership of for yourself. So yeah, I would just say just learn from every moment, whether it's good or bad, and yeah, I decided I wanted to be the last white man to fire me. I'm not white, but I want to be that guy, to be the boss of myself, to be like, don't work on this or work on this. So, yeah, the mess up that cost me the job ended up taking me exactly where I needed to be. For young Black men, Black women, Black people of different genders. How what I would say is, again, develop your personal style, know what you're good at, what you like, what you're interested in. What you're interested in and what you love can end up being your industry. You know what I mean? So if you're in hip hop, you don't have to be a rapper or a producer even or an engineer to be involved in hip hop. You know, um, how do you think the album got the cover that it has? Somebody had to sit there and make it. A photographer had to take the picture, send it to a designer. A designer had to sit there, you know, think about color, think about fonts, think about orientation. So it's like all of these things, and this is every industry. It's not just music. If you love food, somebody had to make the labels, for whatever it is that you're eating or preparing your meal with. If you want to be in TV and in food, Food Network, they need people that do the titling for the shows and the logos, and like real people have these jobs. You know, um, these opportunities are there. They're accessible. Um, I would just develop your personal style, figure out where it is that you're trying to do the work that you do, and figure out what it is you do best. And it's like some people do different kinds of design, learn about the different styles of art, and the things that you like, hold them close, figure out who made them, how they got made. There's a documentary, watch that. I would say just to all the young like potential designers out there, just feed yourself with information, with art, with the life that you want to live. Whenever I jump into a project, um, I do a lot of research, and like I live in whatever that world is for a week, a month, however long the project is. So really immerse yourself in where you're trying to go, and try to find a mentor. Maybe not. You know, for me right now, I'm definitely trying to find somebody a little older in the design industry who I can look up to. I have a lot of friends already who I have worked with before and can look up to. Shout out to Dewey Saunders and Nikki Chulo and everybody else in the industry that's doing exactly what I want to do. So find your heroes. That's another one. Not idols. There's a difference, but find your heroes. The people that you would want to work for with one day, whether it's an artist that you like or somebody that and just live in that world. I wouldn't say obsess over it, but that's what I do. And then don't don't let a missed opportunity be the end of the world. I've had a lot of clients and potential things that I got really excited over, and then the next day it wasn't happening anymore. So also develop a strong sense of self. Know that you are capable and able to create great things, whether one person sees it or not. Not every client is a dream client. Um, what else? Get away from people who do not see your vision or to understand where you're trying to go. Be around people who are encouraging, um, people who are doing stuff, the things that you want to do, or maybe close to the things that you want to do, and they may know somebody that they can send you to as well. I said immerse yourself in media, like what else? Just continue to keep going. Don't give up. Just based on one thing or one project, and try to reach out to people who, you know, you look up to and that can help you ask questions. Don't ever be too ashamed to ask for help if you need it on something. And what else, man? Just do you. Just do you all day. That's advice that Donald Glover told me a long, long time ago. Do you all day. Period. That's it. You know, like nobody can do you better than you.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to the second episode of the So You Want to Be series with graphic designer Michael Felder. We once again want to thank him so much for coming out and sharing his career journey and getting very vulnerable and intimate with us. It means a lot. If you want to check out more of his work, you can do so by visiting his website, or you can follow him on Instagram and Facebook using the little pop-up captions that you see on the screen. I am your host, CC Rockwell. I am the program manager for BT Foundry. BT Foundry is a nonprofit creative agency dedicated to teaching individuals like yourself about all things related to digital marketing. So don't forget to check us out. You can do so by visiting us at www.btfoundry.org. In addition to learning more about our organization, if you're interested in digital marketing, you can also apply for our apprenticeship program. We are currently accepting applications for copywriters, graphic designers, account coordinators, UX UI pros, project coordinators, and strategists. And also, don't forget to check us out next week. We will be interviewing a copywriter by the name of Devin Papillion. So once again, thank you, and I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.